Alright, well. Playoff time. I'm going to turn the volume down for this, but this is my assessment before they start doing the polls because I want to, not necessarily a prediction, but what I think's going to happen. I think Georgia's going to be one. I think. Tennessee actually is a really good shot to be one. You want me to be honest? I'm not really all that mad if they get it. Number one, we play them next week. Number two, they've done some things to deserve it, in my opinion. But I still think Georgia deserves it, honestly, and I think they will get it because, of being the defending national champions, what we did to Oregon, consistently dominating teams. I mean, how well we've played ever since we switched to gap control, in the fourth quarter versus Missouri. Really, in the second half, we really started rolling in the fourth quarter. Changed our blocking schemes and gotten a lot better, I think. The committee will look into that. Think we're the best team in the country. 3 and 4, I think Ohio State's probably going to be 3. Michigan's going to be 4. I think Michigan should be 3 and Ohio State 4. But I think Ohio State's going to get the third spot, in my opinion. I just think, the media and the poll voters, they love superstar players. They love big superstars. That's why Ohio State's been 2 this entire season, because they got all the superstars. Michigan doesn't have as many superstars, but I think they're way more better in depth. I think they're just as well coached in terms of coaching on the field and, developing and all that. Maybe not recruiting. I mean, that's kind of obvious. But, and on top of that, Michigan just, we'll talk about the Michigan-Ohio State game later. That's Georgia-Tennessee this week. Number 5, it is going to be Clemson. Unbeaten teams right there, by the way. There's 6 of them. Number 6 is going to be Alabama, I think. Now, it should be TCU. TCU is 8-0 and have some really good wins. They beat Oklahoma State, who's in the top 20. They beat Kansas State, who's in the top 15. They've blown out some really good teams, in my opinion. They won't be above Alabama, in my opinion, though. I don't think that's going to happen. 8, I think Oregon would be 8. I think. I don't know that for sure. Should they be 8? Yeah, probably, but it's not a big deal if they were below 8, in my opinion. Same with USC and UCLA. You can put those teams where you want them, 8, 9, and 10, just in that particular order. But all 3 of those teams deserve to be 8, 9, and 10. For me, it's 8 Oregon because their losses to Georgia and their loss is a week 1 loss. Oregon's not losing 49. I don't think they'd lose 49-3 to Georgia now. Would they get blown out? Yeah, they get blown out. But they wouldn't be that bad. And they have shown some improvement. And it's a week 1 loss, Georgia, the best team in the country. So, case for number 1 right there. So, I'd put them at 8. USC, I'd put them at 9 because they did lose to Utah. And Utah has done really good since the Florida game. And it was only a 1-point loss. UCLA got absolutely manhandled by Oregon, so I think they need to be 10. Still a great team, but they got manhandled by Oregon. We can't say any different. After that, in my opinion, I'll actually do the full out top 25. So I guess this is a prediction. After the top 10, it's going to be a little bit harder to predict, in my opinion. But come on now, you know what I'm saying. It is going to be a little harder to predict, but I guess we're going to try. Number 11, oh yeah, Ole Miss. Oh, I forgot. No, oh my God, no. No. I think Ole Miss should be 11, in my opinion. No, hold on. Ole Miss is going to be higher than 11. Ole Miss is going to be in the top 10. They'll probably put, I think they'll put Oregon at 9, Oregon at 8, Ole Miss 9, USC 10, UCLA 11. And honestly, I would put Ole Miss above USC and UCLA. I think that's how it should be. I think that's how it's actually going to work out. I completely forgot about Ole Miss. My bad. I apologize there. Number 12. I think they will still put Oregon above Ole Miss. Keep UCLA out the top 10. 12. I don't think it's gonna. For me, my number 12 team would be. This is hard. The end of the day, though, I think you have to. You got to go with Kansas State. They just beat Oklahoma State, who was ranked in your top 10, 48-0. Well, not your top 10, but you know what I mean. They just really. I should have probably done the top 25 first. So here we go. Why not do a reaction to it as well? I actually kind of want to react to this by myself. Well, we just got the first top, so I guess we're only doing top 20. But I will react to this, and I'll react to the rest, 25 USC, I think they deserve that. 24 Texas, I think they deserve that, especially winning with Quinn Ewers, Or 23 Oregon State, I think they deserve that. 22 NC State, I think they deserve that. Did NC State and 21 Wake Forest, I think they do that. Oh, they got this already filled out. They didn't have this last year. They're going quick this year. Oh, my God. Because last year, they took like 10 minutes between the top 25, the 21 to 25, the 16 to 20. And they took like 20 minutes between every team in the top 10. So, I'm over-exaggerating, obviously. But you get my point. Why is Illinois that low? They're 7-1. Well, You do have Kansas State and LSU and... Okay, all right, never mind. For me, though, I'd probably put 13. I think you got to put LSU. Definitely got to put LSU, in my opinion. 14, I'd probably put... I think Utah's a little too high. 14, I'd probably put... they're already revealing it. That was it. Penn State. I already kind of had this little memorized before this, so I was trying to remember Penn State. Yeah, I like the. Whoa, who in the hell is in the? Do they have LSU in the top 10? I'm not totally against it. I think LSU's done a great job so far, but I'm not totally against it. But I know they beat Ole Miss, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have to be above Ole Miss. Utah's not above USC. You know what? I'm not totally against it. 10 is LSU. Well, this is a little quicker than I thought it was. I will react to this. Wow. That's surprising. I did not expect that. I expected Ole Miss to be in the top 10, not LSU. And I think LSU's going to beat Alabama 34-27. LSU's one of the most physical teams in the country. No offense, Alabama fans. I don't think your team is. I think your team's kind of soft. So, I think LSU will be more physical than you. I think they're going to get some sacks. I think they're going to hit Bryce Young. I think they're going to run into your defenders. I think they're going to want to hit everybody in your defense, every position in the field. Number 9 is USC, so we'll probably have Oregon 8 here. I don't think this video has enough time to run for the entire thing, so I'll probably cut out. Then I'm just going to have to pause it, react. I'll pause it and react to the rest of it. 8 is Oregon. Yep, that's kind of what I thought. I think that kind of deserves to happen. I'm not totally against LSU at 10. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but at first I kind of had them at like 13. And I'd probably still put them there, to be honest. I'd wait till this game versus Alabama, but, because they did get blown out by Tennessee. They do have that loss to Florida State. They did struggle versus Auburn, and, I think I would wait for that, in my opinion, but... And TCU 7, which is garbage. Uh, they should easily be above Alabama. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that. I knew that. Knew that shit was gonna happen. But it's all good. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, they're doing a top six today. This part will go a little slower. They'll probably talk for 25 minutes, but uh oh, former Kansas player died 10 months after a crash. He played on the national title team, I think. That's not good. That's not good. I just missed who it was, but I saw it. All right, so my top six prediction: Alabama 6, Clemson 5, Michigan 4, Ohio State 3, Tennessee 2, Georgia 1. If it's anything else, I'll be pretty shocked. The top six should be pretty simple. Um, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee's number one, but besides that, if they put Michigan over Ohio State, it's the right thing to do. But I'd be pretty shocked. Uh, you know, let's see my dog over there. He's having a good time. Don't care. TCU should absolutely be above Alabama. 8-0 with two top 20 wins. Alabama doesn't even have a single ranked win or a single ranked win against somebody who's currently ranked. No, not one win. Well, okay, Texas, that's right. They have a win over Texas, but that's it. And that was without Quinn Ewers. Imagine if it was. Okay, but at least they're no higher than 6, right? Last year, they revealed the number one team first because everyone knew it was Georgia. This year, it seems like they're not going to do that. Or, you know, that's. The truth is, we don't know if Georgia's won. I doubt, by the way, for all the people saying Ohio State over Georgia or whatever, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Ohio State's going to be over Georgia. I don't think they could be, but I think Ohio State's, they'll be at 3. I don't think they'll be over Georgia. So number 5 is going to be Clemson. It'd be pretty shocking if it wasn't. Only in the Harris Highlights poll can you have Clemson above Michigan, Georgia at 3. Yeah. Oh! What? I was messing with you, Harris Highlights, by the way. But, oh my God! Why? Michigan's looked so good. It's the star players thing. That's all I can say. This team is this star player and this star player, so they should be ranked this high versus, I mean, look, I get it. The players Michigan has are not as big marketed as Clemson's, Ohio State's, or Georgia's. Or Tennessee's, as a matter of fact. But, I mean, still, Michigan is... Which, I'm not the conspiracy theorist, but that's what it is. Ohio State and Clemson are more popular programs than, Michigan. They have bigger, I don't want to say bigger fan bases, but they kind of do got bigger fan bases. They got more superstars, which that's how teams get so very high in these preseason polls. But when you're 8-0, what are they looking at, honestly? What makes you think Michigan needs to be 5, much less 3? I'm so confused. That's horrible. For any Michigan fan out there, I feel bad for y'all. Y'all are getting screwed over. You dominated every team you've played except Maryland. And you had a close game in the first half with Indiana. But I mean, you didn't know if your running backs coach was dead or not. Really, I'm not the excuses person, but that's an excuse. Oh my God. Holy fuck. Oh my God. I'm cussing on purpose, by the way, to try to create some entertainment. But oh my god, which that actually sucks. I wanted this to be a 1 versus 2 matchup with us in Tennessee. Oh my god. They've done nothing less than shock me. I'm not upset. We'll get to prove it versus Tennessee next week. But and there's Ohio State, of course. Struggle versus Penn State. Has issues versus Iowa. Has issues versus Notre Dame team. But, there we go. There we go. Yep, Ohio State too, right? Say C.J. Stroud and Jackson and Jacobus Smith going in the top 5 of the NFL draft. They have the best wide receivers on planet Earth, which they really don't. Tennessee's honestly got a better wide receiving core. I'm just going to be honest. Their defense is fine. It's fine, Only got torched for over 400 yards by Penn State, who got shut down by Michigan and ran over by them. Even though we struggled against Penn State, Michigan dominated. It's just this is last year. This is okay with the Ohio State and Michigan last year. Ohio State at 2, Michigan at 5. That was okay last year because of last year's resumes until Michigan beat Ohio State. But this year it's just so much different. I don't understand why you have Ohio State at 2. Tennessee at 1, I'm not sweating that. Good for them. They might deserve it. I think Georgia does, but they might deserve it. Good for them. But this Ohio State thing, this is ridiculous. Wow. All right, Tennessee. Okay. We'll see your ass next week. We won't see Ohio State though. Michigan will take care of that. You know. All right. So who do you think's going to make the playoffs? So seriously, I think anyone in the top 8 has a chance to make the playoffs. Because of or no, top 8 plus LSU has legit chances to make the playoffs. LSU could upset somebody in the SEC title. I know Ole Miss and Illinois technically have shots, but I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't. No offense to Ole Miss, I don't think they're a good enough team to make the playoffs. Neither do I think Illinois is. They're good teams, but So yes, Alabama, I think you're gonna beat Ole Miss, but So top 8 plus LSU is a serious chance at the playoffs. Let me tell you how. LSU can win the SEC title and win out. It's 2 losses. They're in. Oregon. They need some help. It's not just with LSU where they'll do something to get in. But if they win out, there's situations where they'd get over teams. They wouldn't get over undefeated TCU or undefeated Clemson. So they have to hope for one of those 2 teams to lose. It would be nice for them at least if Georgia won the SEC. Because a 12-1 Oregon would get over an 11-1 Tennessee. A 12-1 Oregon would not get over 11-1 Georgia because Georgia beat them. They'd have that tiebreaker. But they look at it versus 12-1 conference champion versus an 11-1 non-division winner. They except for a tiebreaker like that, they would do that. So Oregon's looking for, I don't know, TCU or Clemson to lose and looking for Georgia to win, which will kick out Alabama. They'd pass them, and then, and then Ohio State and Michigan will take care of itself. So that's how Oregon makes it. TCU can make it by just winning out. If they lose a game, they won't make it. I'm sorry. They won't. They could. They could lose a game and still make it, I think. But I think it's very unlikely. And with Clemson, if they lose a game, sounds like they would make it because they're number 4. TCU is actually, honestly, it's extremely unlikely to make it with a loss. Let me rephrase there. Alabama's passed to the playoff. Win out. Because if you lose another game, you're going to be in serious trouble if you're winning your division because this LSU team looks like it's on fire. Now, do I think you can win it? Yes, and I also really don't think you're going to lose LSU. Honestly, I think we're going to be playing LSU in the SEC title or Tennessee. I don't think Alabama's going to get there. I really don't. But you got to win out. I think you could lose and hope for LSU to lose and beat Ole Miss, but that's not what you want to do. And that at that point, if you do make the SEC title two losses and you win the SEC title, you will make the playoffs. So there, if you want that clarification, there you go. Michigan, I don't think losing is an option for Ohio State and Michigan in terms of to each other. They have to beat each other. So the loser of that game, in my opinion, is out because of the Georgia-Tennessee situation. Because Georgia-Tennessee is probably not going to lose a game to each other, except to themselves. But even Georgia being 3, we're still going to be a 11.5 point favorite over Tennessee. Have a 75% chance of the FBI to win. FPI, not FBI. I think I said FPI, but yeah. Clemson's path to the playoffs. I think they can actually lose the game. If they're ranked this high, they can lose the game and still make it. They need TCU to lose. They need Georgia to win. No, well, no. Hold on. Okay. They need Georgia. They need an SEC East team to win the SEC title game. Let's just say Georgia beats Tennessee. They need Georgia to win the SEC title. Okay. The winner of Ohio State, Michigan will probably win the Big Ten title. That's 2. Okay. Then they need Oregon or TCU to lose the game. Whether it's TCU getting 1 loss or it's Oregon getting a 2nd loss. If they get one of those things to happen, they'll make the playoffs. But the easiest thing for them is win out. Georgia beat Tennessee. They could lose 2 games, not to Tennessee, and make it. They could go 11-1. If they go 11-1, they can make it as long as they get a loss from TCU or Clemson, because they'll be over Oregon. They'll trust me. 49-3, they'll be over Oregon. I just said Oregon would do a little bit better. They'll be over Oregon. That's not a debate there. I mean, is there anything besides that you can really bank on? Not really. You can't have an SEC West team to win. That's the thing. If an SEC West team wins the SEC title, that messes this whole thing up. Ohio. So yeah, just Tennessee kind of the same ways as Georgia, except they would not get in over Oregon at 11-1. That's the only difference. Georgia would, they wouldn't. If Georgia, Tennessee, whoever it is, if they make it to the SEC title and lose, they will make it. If they, lose 2 games that's not to each other and win the SEC title, they will make it. They win out, they'll make it. So many scenarios where both those teams can make it. Ohio State, same scenario as Michigan. You have to beat Michigan, just like Michigan has to beat Ohio State. The loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game will not make it to the playoffs. They have no shot. They'll be sent to the Rose Bowl. They have no shot. I'm not. It's not the same as because of the thing of Georgia, Tennessee. Now, before the season, you did have a shot because you'd be the best loser of your division. But because Georgia and Tennessee have kind of overtaken that as a more valuable losing spot in your division, because your division's tougher, your schedule's tougher, and you're losing to, what people think are better teams. Yeah, maybe. You have no shot if you lose. You have to beat each other. The loser of your game will miss the playoffs. A 12-1 you who loses, or let's just say you go 12-1 and you lose the Big Ten title, I think you would get in. 13-0 win out, I think you would get in. 12-1, you lost the game, but you won your Big Ten title. You beat Ohio State, you beat Michigan, beat each other, like I said. You'd get in. 11-1, not winning your division, you would not make it. So you have to win your division, and that means you have to win the Michigan-Ohio State game. That's all I have to say. Like I said, I don't think Ole Miss, Illinois, North Carolina, I don't think they could make the playoffs if they won out. Would they have a shot? Yeah. Would they? Are they going to do it? No, they're not good enough teams, in my opinion. So that's just me. That's your playoff, and that is what is going to be for Saturday. Georgia, number 3 ranked Georgia versus number 1 Tennessee. I'm still saying number 1 versus number 2. Because that's how the AP poll has it, and the AP poll is the history of games of the centuries. You don't know what that is. Games of the centuries are 1 versus 2. So they put it as number 1 Georgia and number 2 Tennessee. And LSU and Alabama were 2 and 3. And that was a game of the century. That was written down as a game of the century because the AP poll had it. It's not every game that's 1 versus 2. especially not national title games, because except for the Texas USC game, because they were just clearly the two best teams. But you know, uh, but it is still going to be a game of the century. It still will be a game of the century, and it still will be 1 versus 2 in my heart, because it's 1 versus 2. I'm not going to take away the number 1 spot from Tennessee, but I still think these are 2 best teams in the country. These are 1 and 2. Okay. I think Michigan's better than you, Tennessee. How about that? I don't think they should be ranked over you, but I think they're better than you. But I think you have a better chance to beat us than Michigan does, or Ohio State. So that's my opinion. 45. Whoa. I almost just came out of a score prediction. Oh no, I just spoiled half of it. Oh God. No. Oh no, I'm doing that later. No, I'll do that. I'll do that another time. We won't get there yet. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for watching this video. I might change the score prediction as well. I'm trying to think about it. But yeah, all right.